How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. So apparently we have a lot of volatility going right now. We tried to blast through this pattern and we just failed. We have that manipulation X, so we'll have to see what happens. This candle's being really crazy, so I would not pay attention to it. Over on yesterday or today's candle, we do have a long upper shadow candle. So this could end up showing that buyers tried to push us forward and the sellers stepped in, and then we may invalidate this bull flag possibility and break to the downside. Remember, if we do see this bull flag play out, it would take the total market cap to about 582. That would be close to the golden pocket of our Fibonacci retracement. If you don't know what the Fibonacci retracement or golden pocket are, visit our Trading Basic playlist and visit the Fibonacci retracement video. Over on our indicators, we're using Market Cipher A free version 1.1 and Market Cipher B edits. Market Cipher A, if you go up here, hit the gear, change your inputs to as following, change your style to as following for these EMAs, and your opacity 70%. I'll give you the lines just like I have them. Now, if we are not careful, we will see that double top play out, so if we continue to drop lower away from this pattern, we're likely going to see that play out. However, if we see a retest and a break back into this pattern, there is a possibility of seeing the bullish pattern play out and seeing price action go forward still. This would result in all of our altcoins continuing forward as well. Our RSI is this red line, is heading down. That shows the relative strength index. We are overbought currently when we are in this high area. We are coming back down. When we are below 30 for our stochastic and RSI, we are in bearish territory. The stochastic is this double line right here as getting very close to bearish territory. If it cannot favor bullish territory here, we will see the RSI come down, and that may result in price action dropping as well. That on top of the manipulation X may make this descending or double top end up breaking us down. A double top is when you have the two rises and then you end up dropping down to a neckline and you end up dropping lower. That is what this red line here is for. Now our money flow is this big green wave. The big green wave gets the strength from the blue wave, which gets its strength from the yellow wave. The blue wave is momentum and yellow wave is VWAP. Money flow is heading down, our VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory, and our momentum is rolling over into bearish territory as well. If our momentum and VWAP continue to reject here, we are likely going to see lower price action, and our money flow will start to come out. That will represent that people are selling off rather than buying. Over on Bitcoin dominance for the daily, we do have a potential to make a bear flag if we keep consolidating in this area. If that happens, we will see a breakdown rather than a push forward, which would result in people selling Bitcoin for either altcoins or stablecoins. Stochastic is heading down, RSI is coming down, the VWAP is heavy in that bearish territory. It is trying to come up, but it's starting to get a bit of a curl. If it continues to curl and drop back down, we will have a lower low with a lower high, which would be a bearish trend that would give us the potential to invalidate this bullish pattern and break lower. Remember, our dominance could push down to possibly right around this 50% zone. We do have that point of control from our fixed range volume profile right around that zone. Just here at that 49%, so moved down a little bit as we went down today. Stochastic is heading down, momentum is breaking into the bearish territory. Our VWAP does want to head forward, so we are trying to gain some bullish strength there. If the VWAP can break the neutral, momentum will continue forward, and our money flow will sustain bullish momentum, which will be positive for dominance, and we will see the double bottom play out. However, if our VWAP starts to roll here, then that's likely where we're going to see a rejection, so just keep that possibility in mind. Over on Bitcoin futures, here's our fixed range volume profile again, so you go over here, fixed range volume profile, hit that star, it'll save it up here for you. You draw it from your rise up to current price action. We do have a pretty significant gap down here, so that could end up filling a little bit later possibly, but they can fill sometimes right away. If it fills right away, we're going to retest the point of control. If we reject that point of control on that retest where we come up and then we start to come back down, we're likely going to fill the 40K gap. However, if we continue forward from here, we may leave these gaps behind to fill at a later date. Stochastic is heading down, momentum wants to round away, VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory, and our money flow is starting to come down. If the VWAP continues to favor bearish territory here, our momentum is going to continue down and the money flow will break bearishly, and that could lead to further price action to the downside, and we could try to push to the value area low, as that is our next area of support. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, we are dropping quite a bit. We did start the breakdown, so we are about a third of the way broke down from this pattern. That symmetrical triangle did end up playing to the bearish side. Stochastic is coming out, RSI is coming down, momentum is falling, our VWAP is in the bearish territory, our money flow is trying to run back up as that VWAP is trying to make a curl, but if the VWAP rolls over and makes a lower high and then creates consistent or lower lows, we will see price action make a move toward that 40K area more likely. Over on the 4 hour, we don't quite have the same gap as we do on the futures. Stochastic does want to round away, RSI is coming down, money flow is breaking into the bearish territory with lower highs and lower lows, so we do have a bearish trend, and the VWAP is pushing down as well. Our momentum does have a red dot, so it is curling away as that VWAP picks up bearish strength. If the VWAP continues to favor bearish territory here, we're likely going to see price action drop lower. I am going to delete this symmetrical triangle because it is no longer valid as we already got it to break down. Over on the 2 hour, we are starting to push away. We have not retested this pattern, so there is still a possibility for us to come back up, make a bounce here. We did fill this wick, so we could just fill this wick, make a bounce, hit this pattern, and try to get back into the pattern. If we do that, there would be possibility for price action to continue forward. However, if we come up, hit the pattern, and then pull back, it's very likely bears will gain control, and that would be a decent short entry area. Stochastic is heading down, RSI is starting to come out, VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory, and the money flow is starting to come down. Momentum is pushing down as well, but we are getting higher lows as price makes lower lows, so we do have a bullish divergence forming. I would pay close attention to that as that could end up pushing us forward. Over on the 1 hour, RSI is trying to head up. Stochastic's pretty beat down, so it will be very difficult for the RSI to move forward if the Stochastic cannot move forward. Our VWAP is trying to round back up, but it's starting to flatten out just under that neutral, so if it curls under here, we will have a lower high with possible consistent highs or lows or lower lows. So if we get the lower high with consistent or lower lows, then we will see price action continue to the downside, and we will continue to push to the 40K area. So over on graph for the daily, we do have half of our breakdown from our flag that we had. We are going to delete it at this point because there is the possibility we are making a retest of the 16, I believe it's 16,316. I don't know why it's showing different, but we are retesting the support line. If we are not able to break back above this support line, then we are likely going to see price action continue down. RSI is heading down, Stochastic is heading down as well. Our VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory, and the momentum is rolling away as well. If our VWAP continues to favor bearish territory here, momentum will continue down, and the money flow will break bearishly, which will result in us seeing lower price action. This could be like a shoulder, a head, and then a shoulder with a shorter shoulder. We'll draw that real quick. So rise, drop, rise, drop, rise, drop. That makes your head and shoulders. I don't know why it's getting that goofy slant there. Then you make your move from your head to your neckline. And then you apply that from your neckline down. And that would give us a push down to around 12,451, which could break that other Fibonacci retracement zone. RSI is heading down, Stochastic's pushing down, money flow is in jeopardy of breaking bearish, so I would just pay close attention to how things are looking on lower time frames. Over on the 4 hour, we do have a long upper shadow, so if we see a strong red candle following this green candle, it's very likely the bears are going to gain control. RSI is pushing down, stochastic is pretty flat, VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory, and the money flow is pushing down as well in a slight bearish trend. If the money flow and VWAP cannot break back to the bullish side, we're likely going to see a push to the downside from here. Momentum is pushing out as well, so with that VWAP favoring bearish territory, momentum's not looking too positive, so it would be difficult for money flow to continue to push forward if the VWAP and momentum start to round away here. Over on the 2 hour, we do have a bullish cross for our stochastic, so that is a positive sign. We could try to push back above this EMA level, as we have been below it for quite some time, and usually when you're below them for some time, you do snap back above them. RSI does want to head forward, stochastic is trying to head forward, money flow is pretty flat in the bullish territory, so if the VWAP starts to curl, that money flow is likely going to break bearish. However, if the VWAP continues forward and breaks the neutral, our money flow is likely going to make a bounce off the neutral here, and we will see a bullish move forward. Over on the 1 hour, we are seeing a bit of a rejection of that support level. I'm going to move that because I know that was at 16,316. I don't think that is Ankr, yeah. So I don't know how that got moved, but it is now back in the right spot. You can see we are hitting that resistance area that has been a pretty solid area, and we are struggling to break back above it. RSI is heading up, stochastic is starting to curl away, VWAP is slightly breaking into the bearish territory after gaining a lower high. If we see the bears start to favor on the VWAP and the VWAP starts to roll over, then we're going to see a pretty decent break to the downside. However, if this VWAP manages to roll back up in the next couple candles, I would say the next candle or two, we could start to retrace some of these losses and see a push forward. Over on Ankr for the daily, we are overall pushing down. We do have a slight descending channel, but it's not a very consistent one, so it would not be a bullish pattern. Stochastic is coming down, RSI wants to come down as well, VWAP has broken the bearish territory, so if it starts to gain some bearish strength here, we will see price action start to drop lower, and the money flow would be in jeopardy of pulling back into the bearish territory, like it did here, and then bounce back into bullish territory. If the VWAP pulls back and money flow breaks bearishly on the daily, that could end up giving us a pretty significant drop. Remember, our next support levels, I believe, are around 22 cents. We have 22.84 and 22 even-ish. If we cannot hold either of those value area lows, then we have that 17.20, but that would probably take a pretty drastic market swing for that to happen, or a continued downturn for some months. Over on the 4 hour, we are overall pushing down, RSI is starting to come down, stochastic is getting lower highs and pushing lower, VWAP is coming down, and the money flow has broken into the bearish territory. Momentum is carrying some bearish strength as well, so if the VWAP continues to push lower, we will see money flow continue down, and we will maintain this bearish strength, which would put the daily at jeopardy of breaking down. Over on the 2 hour, we do have a little bit of hope here, but this double top, where we have this rise, a drop, a rise, a drop. This is our neckline here. So our neckline would be right here. We are trying to invalidate that possibility, but if we see this happen, that will push us lower. Our wick did technically drop us down there, so it could already be played out. RSI is coming down, stochastic wants to head down, VWAP is trying to push forward, money flow is coming down, and the momentum does want to roll forward. So if the VWAP can continue forward, momentum will push forward and money flow will continue up. We do have a long lower shadow candle. A long lower shadow candle does show that sellers are getting exhausted, and we could see price action continue forward. Over on the 1 hour, we are seeing a pretty decent round away. RSI is overall pushing down, stochastic's overall pushing down. The VWAP is getting a lower high with continued lows. If that continues, we are likely going to push down, so I would watch the next hourly candle. If it's a strong green candle, that could help push us forward. However, if we stop short and the next two candles don't bullishly engulf, meaning they go as big or bigger than this red candle, then we could see the bears gain some more control and drop us back to the downside in the matter of a few hours. Over on XRP for the daily, we're kind of doing our own thing, so I'm going to delete this head and shoulders. We did have that rounding top, we did continue forward, and we were not able to continue below this resistance area. This would at this point be a confirmation of a move forward, which, like I've mentioned, could push us to around that 60-cent level, and if we gain some more bullish momentum from there, it could push us to about 62 where our point control is, and try to push us toward the value area high, right around that 67 cents if we continue the momentum. This could be like a slanted double bottom, so if that does end up pushing us forward, that could be a decent push near that value area high. Stochastic does want to come down, RSI is starting to come down, so I would exercise caution on that. VWAP is in the bullish territory, money flow is picking up some bullish strength, and the momentum is pushing forward, so the daily does look pretty decent so far, but I would watch the lower time frames. If they start breaking bearishly, then that could be put in jeopardy. Over on the 4 hours, Stochastic is trying to ramp up, RSI is trying to head back up, VWAP is in the bullish territory, we are gaining some new highs, so we are trying to favor bullish strength. If this continues, we're likely going to fill those value areas and continue up. However, if this VWAP breaks back into the bearish territory, we would have a lower high, and then we would be in jeopardy of seeing the bears gain control, so we're not quite out of the woods yet. Momentum does want to round as well, so if that VWAP continues down, momentum will round and money flow will end up breaking back into the bearish territory. Over on our 4 hour, we do have this bearish engulfing candle. We are trying to push back forward and invalidate a bearish momentum. If we cannot get some strong green candles and break this area, it's likely we could come back up, see a rejection. If we see a rejection, we're going to continue down. However, if we push to this 59-cent area, that's where we can push to our 60 and then 62 cents. Stochastic does want to head down, RSI is in jeopardy of falling as well, momentum does want to round off with a red dot, and our VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory. If this VWAP continues down, momentum is going to continue lower and our money flow will continue to come out, which will show that people are continuing to sell the asset. Over on the 1 hour, so we do have that bearish engulf that I did mention on Ankr, but we're trying to push forward from it. If we do the same thing on Ankr, then we could have a volatile move up. Same thing to be said here. So if we continue to see green candles, we may see some further movement up. We did try to push the support several times, and we were not able to stay below it. Stochastic is overall making bearish divergence, momentum's making bearish divergence, VWAP is coming down, and the money flow is starting to pick up some bearish strength, so I would exercise caution here. If we see the VWAP continue to favor bearish territory here, then we will see some lower highs with possible lower lows that could create a bearish trend. So again, watch the next few candles. The market does seem kind of on the fence right now. Over on ALGO for the daily, we are trying to round away. We did get pretty much that full breakdown of that bearish pattern. Oop, did not mean to delete that, I meant to delete that. If we are not able to continue a bounce off of this neckline, we're likely going to see that head and shoulders bring us lower and possibly break back into this fixed range volume profile. That would put us right near that value area high, at which point if we break that value area high and continue down, we are going to make a move to the point of control. Over on our 4 hour here, we are going pretty indecisive. We are trying to make a kind of head and shoulders within the head and shoulders other shoulder. So this could end up being verification, confirmation, and that could end up pushing us lower if we are not careful. If we start to see some strength, this money flow does want to pick up some bullish strength. If the VWAP can pick up bullish strength as well, then we may see price action continue forward. But if our VWAP continues down, momentum continues to push lower, then price action is likely going to drop away here. Over on the 2 hour, we do have a manipulation X that is starting to bring us lower. RSI is coming down, Stochastic's pushing lower after gaining a bearish divergence. Our momentum is pushing down, VWAP is picking up some bearish strength, and the money flow is pushing down slightly. If the VWAP continues to favor bearish territory here, and we see it make a lower high, that would be a lower low with a lower high, and then we would have a bearish trend here on the 2 hour that could break us lower. Over on the 1 hour, we are starting to roll away. We do have that manipulation X that did carry to the 2 hour. Stochastic is splitting off and starting to diverge after rejecting, trying to cross bullishly. RSI is starting to come down as a result. VWAP is favoring the bearish territory. We do have lower lows. We do have higher lows, and we are trying to make higher highs. If we can make those higher lows with the higher highs, then we will see price action continue forward. However, if we roll away and make a lower high, we could see the bears gain some strength. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.